Hi everyone, welcome to our vision. I'm Jose Silva, and today I have a guest that I really admire. She is an award-winning entrepreneur and an author. She's recognized as one of Asia's 100 women leaders in 2023. She's a big spoke mentorship in consulting in business. She is also a mom of two, lives in Dubai. She loves to socialize, doing good business, and travel. Welcome to Sarah Malik.
Thank you very much for a very kind introduction.
Thank you, Sarah, to be here. I think we have you have very good insights to share with people. But I will start with the question that I will start to everyone. Okay. So for you, what is the role of culture while doing business?
I think culture's massive. I think it's huge wherever you do business. And I don't think you can escape culture. There's two things. There's a culture of a business and then there's a culture of the community that you operate in. And I think you'd be naive not to take that on board because you can't kind of have one size fits all and pretend everything the way I've done it in London is going to work, doing it in the UAE or doing it in Egypt or KSA or America. So I think those amongst us who really respect and go places are those who embrace the culture of the jurisdiction we're working in, of the demographic of people that we want to reach. Because when they see that affiliation and they see your buy-in and your understanding, you gain respect immediately. And I also think it's rude not to take account of other people's culture and rude not to kind of bring that into your business sense because you will excel once you mix up both worlds.
And to succeed, you also need to adapt to the cultural references that your customers and your stakeholders they have, right?
Absolutely. You need to be part of them in their mindset, think like them, know what, is accepted and what's not. And things change. And, culture to culture, there's variations that are important that people don't appreciate, but that can have huge bearings. And I think if you're going to work in any jurisdiction, it's absolutely essential to understand those cultural nuances. Otherwise, whatever product or service you're offering isn't going to get off the ground the way it should if you don't embrace the place you're in.
Yeah. So you born in London in the UK?
No,
right?
not in London. I was actually born in Scotland, in Edinburgh.
Okay, Scotland.
Scotland, but I only stayed there till I was very tiny, less than a year old.
And then you moved to London, right?
To
with your
Manchester.
family? To Manchester.
I grew up in the north, so Manchester. Went to school, university then moved to London in 1998. I'm giving away my age. 98.
And then moved to Dubai
In 2014.
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Okay, and what are the difference between UK and here in the Middle East?
There's many differences and there's many similarities. Firstly, I think as a person, when you're going to do business, you should have the same kind of mantra in terms of what you're going to deliver. Differences, I guess, culturally. There's differences in terms of expectation. Dubai is a very new country, or it's not a country, it's United Arab Emirates. UAE is a very new country, so an emirate. And therefore it doesn't have the old, tried, established ways, say, the UK does. But that's a good thing because, you can bring newness and you can bring innovation and it's at the forefront of its game. With London, there's set ways of doing things. I'm not saying they don't embrace newness and they don't embrace kind of innovation, but there's a huge difference in mentality as well. I think there's a lot more open-mindedness here to trying things new, and that might be because it's a new country.
Yeah, that's true, but the perception in Europe about the UAE is the opposite way. They are more conservative, but in the end of the day, I think they are much open-minded than Europe,
I think the perceptions are changing. I think gone are the days where the Middle East generally was looked at like, it's a kind of desert and what are people doing out there? I think all the world's eyes are on the Middle East for many reasons. Economically, politically, stability, what they've done in sports, even with the World Cup. So those kind of perceptions of, everybody is, kind of locked away and we don't have a life. People who don't know and who haven't been may well still have that perception and that may be mass media or otherwise. But increasingly, you just need to look outside your door. Half of Europe and half of America, everybody's flocking to the Middle East. So those perceptions are changing and I've seen them change over the years. And equally, we know there's there's troubled times in some of the Western world at this stage for various reasons. I think the pandemic didn't help many countries. I think general political instability,
Yes. The
and
wars as well.
wars, and we unfortunately in a situation similar even within this region.
Yes.
But certainly the 10 years I've been here, perceptions have hugely changed. And I actually did a keynote speech at the beginning of London Disputes Week about how the Middle East is becoming the new hub for dispute resolution because of cultural and significant kind of shifts in mindset and change, that all eyes are on the Middle East, very much open for business.
Yes, that's correct. I totally agree. And I feel, for example, even the people from South America, they see Dubai now as the old American dream.
Yeah.
So instead of like the what represents America, I think now is UAE, Middle East, and especially Dubai.
I think it's a land of opportunity, the land
Yes.
of dreams, a land where things can happen, the land where everybody's able to kind of make something of themselves, as it used to be, in the old
America.
days.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I think maybe it's helped, not helped, but some of the reality TV, which is not actually reality TV, we have out here, really portrays that we're living in some kind of, gold lined streets and, utopia. And I was in Miami a couple of years ago, and people are like, oh, wow, so you're from Dubai, and is it really like everybody's, multimillionaires? I'm like, no. We have very average people, and the media blow it up. But you're right, it's a land of opportunity, a land of dreams.
And how is to be a woman, an entrepreneur in Dubai?
I think it's a place where women will thrive, and increasingly there's been lots of initiatives at government level, board level. You have to have a certain number of women represented. I think, again, gone are the days where it was this kind of restrictive perception of the way Dubai is. I'm a woman, I'm an entrepreneur, I have multiple businesses, and, given the traditional perception, I should have failed on all fronts. I'm a Muslim woman in a conservative society, but I'm sat here with you today, right? So I think maybe I've been fortunate, maybe I've been lucky, maybe I'm disruptive, and maybe I'm mouthy. But I think that this is a place where anybody, woman, man, young or old, if you have a vision, a dream, you execute properly, you can make it. Being a woman and an entrepreneur, I think, may well have its own challenges wherever you are in the world. I've been fortunate not to come across those in any massive way that's prevented me from going forward. But certainly I've never thought, being in Dubai has held me back. In fact, to the contrary, a lot of the allies I have, including yourself, are male, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being a woman entrepreneur here is to be celebrated.
Yes, of course. And which characteristics, like personality characteristics, that you have that you think that help you to succeed?
I think it's got to always boil down to being raw and authentic and being real and fairly disruptive. I don't pretend to not be me. I don't try to be somebody else, and I say it as it is. Probably sometimes I say things I shouldn't say or what people think I say. And I think that's what maybe stands me out or differentiates me from traditional conservative entrepreneurs or lawyers who kind of toe the line. And I don't do anything wrong, but I stand my ground and I'll voice my opinion even if I'm stood alone. So I think what differentiates me or my characteristics is I don't follow the trodden path. People think you're a bit crazy or eccentric when you make your own path, but I think everyone throughout history has shown that whenever you take a different path, first people will question it and then everybody follows.
Yes, I totally agree. I think I don't believe in recipes for success, but I believe that there are some characteristics that people have that help them to succeed and be disruptive. Don't follow the rule. Just be like open mind. I think something that really help you to stand out.
But in terms of actual characteristics, you need to be consistent. You need to be able to deliver. You need to be on top of your game. You need to be trustworthy. You need to do things properly. You need to
commit.
Commit. You need to communicate. All of those characteristics. It's not just about being disruptive. You have to have a core kind of foundation in order to succeed. Consistency is really important.
Yeah.
People need to know that they can set their watch by you. What you say you're going to do, you're going to turn up, you're going to deliver. And also I think if you look at any recipe for success, whether, I don't know, you're trying to get into shape or you're trying to elevate business, you don't find one day where you're like, oh, wow, I've been going to the gym and suddenly it's all worked out. It's just a
Yeah, of
process. It
course.
just happens over
Yeah.
time. And it's the same with work. If you keep doing what you're supposed to do and you're consistent, the results come. So that consistency is really important. I think also successful people surround themselves with the right crowd.
Yes,
It's
that's true.
hugely important.
Yes.
Look around you, that you are the total sum of the five people
Yes, you are around
you
with.
hang out with
Yes.
most, and show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And if your friends are not on the same page as you, they're not inspiring you, you're not opening doors for each other, then you're not in a friends crowd, you're trapped in a cage.
And who inspires you?
Yeah, there's not one single individual that I can say, oh, I really like their trajectory or career path. There's many different individuals on a daily
course.
basis. And I think it's not who, it's what inspires me and what people do. I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was at, it was in Miras in City Walk. They had this kind of dance competition thing going on. And they had some kids on the stage. At one stage, they called the kids up and they asked children, very little children, to sing. And this one little boy was quite shy and didn't know what to do, and he was encouraged. And then he sang this really sweet song about I love you, mommy. Why is that inspiring? Because I saw a young kid raw, not much confidence, on a stage in front of many people. It must have been quite daunting. And he just sang what came to him naturally and authentically. Why does that inspire me? Because I think we can take a leaf out of that book. Because when you are yourself, I think you do things to the best of your ability. So people who inspire me are those who are able to cut out of that traditional, I need to be like this, or I have to, be a certain way, and they are themselves. And the other people generally who inspire me in life are those who have really worked from nothing and achieved,
Yes, like
just
me.
through grit and determination. And I know those. I have clients who are now, leaders in their industry who really came from nothing, started from nothing, but just a raw vision and execution. And not only do they inspire me, they gain a lot of respect from me because I know what it takes to get to that level. So, huge hats off to people like that.
As an entrepreneur, you have to make a lot of decisions daily. How to manage your emotions and how do you use your emotions to make decisions?
So I think the short answer is I don't get emotion involved. I don't think you can think with your heart. It's heart or head. And sometimes business decisions just need to be a hard decision from the head. And if you start letting emotions get involved, you can lack in business decisions. You might not always make the right decision, but you know what? As a leader, as an owner, you have to press that button and make that decision. And that's why you are in that position you are, because you can't sit on the fence. Now, if you start bringing emotion involved and you start overthinking, you might start sitting on the fence. I'll tell you where I do use emotion. I never used to go with gut instinct.
You never go?
I never used to. I do now.
Okay.
And I learnt late in life. I think we always use logic over kind of logic and reason over emotion. So if I'm sat with you and the vibe is off, but I can't place a finger on it, why? And I'd think to myself, oh, well, he's done nothing to me. Why are you feeling like this? It's silly. Now I don't. If I'm with someone and the energy doesn't match, I'm out because I've never been proven wrong. And therefore, if you like, an emotion that I go with is that gut feeling now. And that gut feeling, it's, I want to do this or I don't want to do this, I go with it. And I don't have to explain it to myself or anyone else. Many years I didn't. And each time that I felt something was off, it was off.
Yes, I do the same. I always use my gut to make decisions.
Yeah.
Because I think we are not. It's not good to when your emotions are intense. They should be like in a average level. Because when you are very happy or very sad,
you can make a different
you can
decision.
make different decisions.
Or when you're very hungry.
Or very hungry. Yes, don't
make
make
a decision when you're hungry or sad or happy or angry. Because you're doing it as a reaction and not an informed decision.
Yes, but it's important to listen yourself and not just like see the numbers, because sometimes it's not about that. It's about what you feel and the energy that you
Absolutely.
have.
The numbers and all of that, of course you'll see all of that. But even if the numbers all add up, but the feeling's not right, don't do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the numbers might not add up, but you have a good gut instinct that this is going to fly, this is going to kick, this is something I want to be part of, then go with it. So it's not all. It doesn't always have to be one or the other. And I think when you mix both, you come up with the best outcome.
And how can you manage your emotions, your personal life, your professional life, as a mom as well? So how can you manage all of
Look,
those
if the
pillars?
question's about like work-life balance, it's a huge myth. It doesn't exist. I say that.
Yes.
I say that to the world. Like this kind of, I'm going to sit here and say, I've got my children under, how I want them. I've got my work flowing. I've got my personal life. I've got my traveling and my gym. No, there's always something giving or taking to make something else happen, and that's the reality of life. What I do is I don't beat myself up about it. Right? There's always something that's going to be lacking at some point, but as long as you give enough to each aspect of your life, and it's quality, not quantity, that counts. So if I am kind of very busy with work, then when I am spending time with my children, it's full on quality time. I'm not kind of ignoring them or doing other things. If I am, not being able to get in the gym for a while, when I'm in, I'm fully focused. So all this kind of work-life balance and I've got everything in order, I don't believe. I'm a person who wears multiple hats, and at any given time, I'm juggling.
Yeah, I also say the same to my friends, because especially in Portugal, the people complains a lot, and they are always saying, "Oh, but they want to have like a lot of days for holidays. They want to travel. They want to be rich. They want to do a career. They want to, have a family and kids." And it's not possible to do everything. They need to accept and they need to make choices. So it's what you said. We need to, okay. And what you said is also very important because sometimes it's not spend like 10 hours with your kids, but it's 2 hours when you are full committed on that
Absolutely.
time. So for me, this is
And if you want all of
balanced
that,
life.
and people want all the life, but they don't always want to put what goes into it, and that is that sacrifice. That is the long hours. So I read this really good kind of saying when I was young, and it said something like, save while they spend, work while they party, study when they sleep, and then live like they dream. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes in to kind of get that balance if you ever can, or to succeed. And people who want everything but don't want to put the work in or go through the journey, what is presented and what people see on social media or otherwise, or interviews like this, someone who might be accomplished or might have got there, but they don't know the journey that's got them
Yeah.
there, the sacrifices, the late nights, the non-work-life balance. It's all the total sum of all of that gets you where you are.
Yeah, I think it's easier for people to say, "Oh, it's not my fault," It's government fault or it's like life fault. Yes. So now are moving a lot of people to Dubai, right? What do you think there is the impact on Dubai for relocating so many people?
Look, I think I've seen a huge change in Dubai in the 10 years I've been here. They've opened up a lot more kind of ways of people getting in. It's a lot more flexible in terms of working the visas. And I think generally, not just Dubai, but in the Middle East, is this vision 2030.
30.
We have it in Saudi, we've got Qatar, we've got a lot of the regions where they're expanding, they're building. I mean, the impact on Dubai's always been about 90% expats. We're just getting more. Infrastructure-wise, they're building and they're going to have to because, to ease traffic congestion, it's got busier. Schools are busier. Equally, it's very good for the economy. We're having, more people, more businesses, which means more work. And I think as the generations come through in Dubai, it's important to have that level of stability. The only way the country will keep going, again, I keep saying we're relatively small, is by expanding and doing other things. So it's not a bad thing to have people in. I think, kind of being able to manage people to kind of bring the law regulation up to speed, we may well play catch up on those areas. We are leading in many areas. So, to me, it's a kind of, welcome for all. It's not like any of us own Dubai. We were fortunate enough to come years ago. We've been able to make a mark, and it's certainly open for anybody who's able to come in. I think there will be maybe some cultural shifts. We've seen some already in the time I've been here. There's been a relaxation of some of the laws, a relaxation of some of the kind of ways to live. And I think as generations go by, or as years go by, that will happen more. People will assimilate more. So it's going to have a day-to-day impact generally on congestion, traffic, economy. It'll be good it'll create jobs. I think again, it's the mantra of the Middle East where we're very much open for business to the world.
Yes. And what kind of what piece of advice do you would like to share? People that want to open their business here or just to move to find a job? What do you
I
think?
think going back to how we started this conversation, know what you're coming into, know the kind of landscape, know the culture, respect that. And then also have a plan, a vision, a dream, but have that executed properly. You've got to have things planned. You have to have, if you want to set up a business here, what's your business plan? Who are your competitors? Have you done your market research? Do you know how you're going to pitch? How are you going to market yourself? How are you going to then do your sales, or how are you going to connect with customers and then convert? So, it's sometimes, I'm just going to go on a whim and a prayer, and that's great. And you hear stories that work out. But often you need to have some kind of planning. And I think people sometimes turn up to jurisdictions and think, oh, well, it's a rich place and I'll just make it happen. And it's not as easy as that. And it's become quite saturated. As you've seen, and you may well have seen in recent times, a lot of people have moved out to Dubai. There's very competitive, the job market. If you're opening something, what's unique about you? Why should I come to you and not all your competitors?
Yes.
So know what your edge is and market on that. Know what your USP is, and always, always, always keep it real. I think in a day and age of tech and AI and everything else we have, and I embrace it all, that kind of human emotion, human realness really resonates. And I think when you keep your branding real, when you keep your message real and you deliver, you'll gain traction. But you've got to have a plan.
Yes, you got to have a plan, and also sometimes in my case, my USP in Europe is different here in Dubai because the culture is different.
Yeah.
So study the culture.
Absolutely.
I think is one of the most important things as well.
Absolutely.
And also before move to Dubai, stay here for a while.
Come and see if you like it. You're
Yes,
away
if
from
you-
family, you're away from, what you know. It's not for everyone. And, if you do like it, then invest, because otherwise don't just kind of rock up and start opening a business just to stay, and then 6 months later or a year later you don't like it and you've lost a lot of money. So I think, but I'm seeing a lot of people who've been in and out of Dubai who then decide to make Dubai their home. That's certainly even how I did it, right? I came,
Me too.
I saw the place, I holidayed here, I liked it, I came again, and then decided. And so many people just turn up and stay, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But you've always got to have that kind of plan and utilize your network.
Yes.
If you're wanting to come to Dubai and people, reach out to them.
Yes.
You'd be surprised. People will assist you. They will help you. But kind of be quite forthcoming and say, this is my plans, and I want to establish there. And do your groundwork, do your homework. I think that's important.
Yes, I totally agree. I think here, especially in Dubai, in the Middle East, the networking is very important. But people are also happy to assist you on that.
Yeah.
I think, for example, comparing to London,
Yeah.
London is more close on that, right?
Yeah, you can already have established networks, and it's difficult to kind of infiltrate or
Yes.
penetrate them. Whereas here, there's
It's
so
easier.
much happening, and people are building their own kind of networks, and networks that come off networks. And, everybody's in the same boat. We're away from
From the
family
family,
and friends, and everybody
hometown.
becomes, quite friendly quite soon. But equally, perhaps a downside to that is it's a very transient place. My kids lose good friends each year because they've moved back home, So it's not like in the UK where you grow up with the same people in the same schools and you go off to uni. Here, there's a lot of movement. It's a very transient place. People are in, people are out. So, you've got to take that on board as well.
And how do you feel about it? Do you like it? Because it's not for everyone.
I've really loved being here, and it's given me a lot of opportunities that perhaps I couldn't avail so easily back in the UK. My children thrive here. I love the fact that it's so multicultural. I love the fact that they're exposed to so many different cultures and so many different people and so many different kind of, activities. I think it opens a mindset. I also think, there's a reality check, and I do sometimes worry about, well, before they go off to university somewhere, let's get them some street credibility. But, that comes as they grow up with age anyway. So it's really worked for me. It's one of the safest places in the world. I mean, look, we bag a table by leaving a designer bag on the table and go to the bathroom. And that means that's my table, whether it's in a restaurant or a club. Now, you cannot do that
Imagine in London.
doing it in London or doing it, in America.
Yes, in America.
And so that
everywhere.
kind of level of safeness, but equally, it's probably a false sense of security in the global world because, like I tell my children, I'm like, look, if here we're in the mall and you run off, you'll come back, it's good. But when we're traveling and we're in New York or we're in, wherever we are, if I don't see you, you don't see me, it's a game over. And try to explain to them the concept of that and they don't understand it when they're little. So it's really nice to have that security here, which you don't have anywhere else. And the UAE generally as a country is so kind of open-minded in terms of, and wanting people to be so stable and secure. Going back to a question, actually, just to finish off on my side, inspiration. I'll tell you who is inspirational. The leader of this country.
Yes,
the leadership.
it's a visionary.
What they've done in
Yes,
50 years
it's crazy.
is incredible.
Incredible.
Now that's, again, and why I like it is it's disruptive. Who thought, oh, this was just a desert, what are they going to do? And you look at the difference. Even 20 years ago, I came out here in 98, and the Dubai from 1998 to today is so different. And that's a visionary. That's someone who's got a dream, has a plan, and puts it into play when everybody else is thinking, well, how's that going to work in that climate and in that desert? And 20, 30, 40 years later, you see exactly how it's working.
And
that's inspiration.
What is your vision?
For the future, for myself
Yes.
and generally? I'll never stay doing the same thing over and over again because I like change. I'm a person who thrives off challenge, and I have to really enjoy what I do to continue doing it. And then I'm always looking for something more to do. I don't sit still. So I think probably more business, different ventures. I'm 25 years as a barrister this year.
But are you not 25?
I went to law school when I was one. I was a child. I was a child prodigy. Now I'm 25 years as a lawyer. I won't do another 25, I don't think. I mean, life is short. There's so much to do. So my vision is just I want to not regret and to live everything I want to do. Something that resonates with me is I remember a long time ago reading or seeing, I think I saw it on a video or otherwise. They said, close your eyes and it's done. It's game over. There's no coming back. There's no dress rehearsal. Life is over. There's no second chances. Have you done everything you've wanted to do? Have you lived? And I think if each one of us just did that simple task, you will know yourself what your vision is, because either you stay stuck in doing something you don't want to do or you live your life.
Have you done it for yourself?
I've been doing it. I've put it into play, and I do. That's why I live the way I live, is I live how I want to authentically, not how I'm expected to or what people think, but what does it for me. And it might not make sense for you, right?
Yes.
But it's my journey, and it doesn't have to make sense to you. It just has to make sense to me.
And what are the expectations that you think people have on you?
I think people think because I do so many different things, like, oh, she's able to kind of fit it all in. She's somebody who will always be able to fix everything,
Yes.
someone who they can rely on, which is nice. I think people have high expectations, but so do I. I think if you deliver, then people look at you a certain way. I certainly don't think they expect to see me kind of, see me in a vulnerable state, right? They don't expect that. But actually, the reality is all of us have ups and downs.
Of course.
And I think people's expectations are a projection of what they feel rather than what they think you should be like. So what they feel you should be like in a certain situation. And I don't often subscribe to expectations. They just get me raw and authentic the way I am. And I think, honestly, people have come to expect the unexpected of me. Anything I say or do now, and I'll put on social media, it'll be like, okay, it's Sarah Malik. Of course she's going to say that or do that. So, it's
Disruptive.
expect the unexpected with me, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So you already travel for so many countries and cities. So which trip that you had that changed your life?
I think it's a total sum of many trips. No one trip stands out as that's changed my life. I've had
You don't
some
feel it?
fantastic experiences with different people in different countries and continents, whether that's friends, whether that's family, with my children. So there's not one trip that I say, oh, that was life changing. I think the fact that I've been able to experience so many cultures, it's probably, and I've been to must be about 45, 46 countries now.
Yeah.
I'm just lucky to have seen so many different ways of life, so many different cultures, foods, mindsets. But there's so much more to explore. So if I'd found the one trip that, you know, I was mesmerized and that was it, for me, I'd probably be there right now. But I'm a wandering soul. I'm probably still in love with places I've not seen yet, cities I've not found yet. And that's the excitement. It's the journey, right?
Do you feel that you belong to any country?
No. I don't feel I belong to a place, a city, a home, a person. I just feel I kind of belong everywhere. And
A free soul.
A free soul, a wandering soul. I think they call it wanderlust. And I say that. And I say it to people because I've been told, you know, sometimes, oh, people can't place you. They can't kind of keep up what you, she's doing this, she's doing that. I'm like, I don't fit in a box. I belong everywhere. Don't, if you try and put me in a box, is where you'll fail. I don't belong in a box.
So this is what I like most about you, you know, and what I admire more
Thank
about you. It's because you cannot fit anywhere, you know.
In a box, like
I
she kind
cannot
of
fit like as a lawyer, as a no. You are like very much more than that.
multifaceted, and I don't fit in a box. So yeah, there's countries and cities I'm yet to explore, people I'm yet to meet, and that's the whole point. I think with life, it's the journey, right? The end destination is just one, so enjoy the journey.
Still talking about traveling, how traveling impact on business?
I think you take a little bit away from each culture you go to. It really opens your mindset. It lets you see things from different angles and perspectives, right? And I think once you bring that back to business, I'm not saying bring the whole world back to your business, but if you're trying to be a global business or you want to, you know, sell your service or product or have the buy-in from different cultures, different communities, traveling lets you see firsthand. And also, it's not a bad thing to be able to say in a conversation, oh, yes, I've been to your country, you know. And they're, you know, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Cuba, I've been to this place, I've been to that place. People are like, wow, so you've been there as well. And it's nice because, again, it's that affinity and that kind of, you know, they buy in because they know that you've seen their cultures or otherwise. So I think traveling opens your mindset to run your business in a different way, which is why you will succeed, because you're not running it in the one size fits all kind of model that somebody who perhaps hasn't traveled as much follows that path.
And in a creativity way also opens your mind, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Every time that I go to another city and I go to, you know, see museums, socialize with people, I have a lot of new ideas to implement in a marketing way. So it's
and
very
the way
important.
people do things, you're like, oh, that works really well, and I could do that
Why
in business,
I didn't
and
think about
nobody
that
else is doing
before?
it. Yeah. But that's what I mean. You take the best from wherever you go, and you kind of mix and mash it, and that's why you become so different. And I think also when you're able to do that, you're bringing the best to your business because you're representing so many different kind of mindsets, that it's not a robotic service or product that you're offering.
Yeah, that's true. So to finish now, short questions, okay? So short answers.
Okay.
So top 3 cities that you ever visit.
New York.
New York,
I love New York.
Me too.
I've really enjoyed Cairo.
Cairo?
I enjoyed
I need
Cairo.
to go to Cairo.
And I really liked Cuba.
Cuba as well?
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
For you, the top city to do business?
Here, Dubai. I think the UAE, fantastic opportunities. I've only done businesses and been based in the UK and here hands down. And I'm sure, you know, there's huge opportunities in many other cities, countries, and I'd love to explore, you know, at some stage. But right now, if you were to ask me, and tried and tested, absolutely here in the UAE.
Top city for food, to eat?
To eat. See, I love all kinds of food. I like Thai, I like Italian, I like all kinds of different cuisines. I really like Milan for food.
Yeah, Italy.
I really
is
like
one of the
Italy.
best, yes. And top city to have fun?
Depends what age you are. I'd say the Spanish islands. Formentera,
Like Ibiza?
Ibiza, Marbella. A lot of fun. I had a lot of fun there. I'm sure in South America as well. Yeah.
And top city to live?
To live? At the moment, it's here. I would say here. I mean, I'm biased, but I can't. Wherever I travel and I come back here, you know, you kind of feel a sense of relief and it's becoming home. So yeah, right now, here.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much.
You're done.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
very
me.
much.
All right. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone. And waiting for the new episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.